See, let's see how fast people. And I do full HD. Oh, look at that, we're live. So
sweet.
You should be able to see a counter up at the left-hand side too.
No. Usually I can, but I don't see nothing right this moment.
Viewers live. So and then I can break it down. So everyone watching, I can break it down to tell you where they're watching too. So everyone should be able to get on here. So how's your day going? What did you do today and this week?
I did pretty much. Well, let me think about this here for a minute. I was working on the reptile room, of course. I was expanding it, trying to get it bigger. We're trying to maneuver some stuff around. That way I can get more stuff in there. Other than that, I was finishing up a rack. And that's pretty much it. All week, nothing real big. How about yourself?
Pulled eggs.
Pulled more eggs.
Yeah, pulled a lot of eggs. Hatched out stuff I didn't want to hatch out.
Oh, I've seen the picture, but it's still cool though.
Yeah. That was the coolest clouded I have. That I have a small chance to be het albino, and it turned out to be het albino. So that means its father's het albino, and so there's 2 animals het albino. So hopefully the other 3, one of them aren't. But we do got Macularis here now, so I'm going to breed some female cloudeds to the Macularis, try to breed out that Eclipse and Tremper. But I'm trying to breed out 2 lines, Eclipse and Tremper, out of it. So that's a tough thing. It's just like once you get rid of one, you get another one. What else happened this week? I don't even know. Like, it's been a busy week. It's been like, since the show, Reptile Expo, I have been all over the board. I bought wood to build more racks.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
that's always fun.
It's just sitting there still. Let's see, what else did happen? I bought a new pair of shoes.
Yeah. So, that's not. Yeah, I bought 2 new pair of shoes. One's not here yet. The other one's out there. I got Adidas, and let me think. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's been a pretty not so fun week. But I got the green screen with US Arc. That's pretty cool. Mickey will like that.
That's sweet. Any wood in particular you use for racks, do not use melamine. People like melamine. That's just my personal opinion, because I know melamine, once you put heat tape on it and it gets to a certain temperature, it starts releasing formaldehyde. And what they used to do is they used to make melamine plates and stuff for microwaves, because they were microwave safe. They wouldn't melt or nothing. But that's how they found out that they release formaldehyde. Now, I know a big breeder who breeds a lot of snakes has made a whole bunch of moved their whole system to a new facility, and they noticed some production was down on animals that was really good, but up on others. So they had a company come in and test the air. They were thinking the air or something, environment was bad, maybe mold or something. They couldn't figure it out. So they had a company come in and set these little vials around, and they called them and they said, because they sent them a kit to put around. They said, where did you have like this vial at, And they told them, and here it was the melamine racks. The formaldehyde was so high, it was actually interrupting the snake's breeding.
Yeah, I just use plywood too. I don't use any melamine. I don't do the 4, how should I say it? Like the 4 tubs like next to each other.
No.
Because I don't want the sagging. I went through that where I would do like 4-foot wide racks, and then I'd put 6 quart, or I put whatever quart I wanted to put there, and then I would get that sagging. So now no matter what rack I build, I just build it where it's 2 side by side, and then it matters if I do belly heat or belly heat or back heat. It matters on the species. It matters on the species. Like a boreal species, belly heat's not going to be as used as my crested gecko racks that I built, I use back heat. And then like my leopard geckos, I use belly heat if I can do it.
Yeah. I use plywood too. I just make sure it's sanded, really, really good sanded plywood, not plywood with big knots in it, plywood with big knots in it and stuff. And then I do single rack, and then I'll build another single rack, and then I I could put them side by side and make it, as long as you want.
I'm actually experimenting. I'm going to try. I have an idea for a rack for my leaf tails, satanics, because satanics stress out so easy. So basically, I was going to build a whole enclosed rack that has a LED system in it, because there's some bulbs coming soon with UVA and UVB. And then I could go ahead and do like a rack that's only seen from the front in tubs, so maybe they don't stress out as much.
That would be good.
I'm going to see how it works. It's going to be a rack that may have 2 or 3 tubs high, because they're going to be arboreal tubs. But I found some at Walmart that are like 27 inches tall, and they're not as deep. They're like garbage cans almost, but they're opaque, and they're going to work.
Yeah. Wally Kern is here. So is Frank the Tank.
Yeah, we have 10 people watching right now, and watch, I can go. It's 4 people on my personal. Fauna Radio actually has no one watching on Fauna Radio. On Facebook, Fauna Radio on YouTube, we have 3. And then we have Orner Exotics has 1, and Fauna Radio on Twitch has 1, and Orner Exotics on Facebook has 1. So I don't know how the comments are going to work, guys, but it tells us where you're at. Like
Facebook, Leonardo's from Facebook. Wally's on YouTube. Pretty much everybody else is on YouTube too, I could see. Yeah.
So how these are going to go is I'm going to stream. Right now I'm streaming in 9 places. I can stream on we can stream on any fauna on the group that I'm an admin of. So if I'm a mod on your group and you want me to be able to stream these live on your group, make me an admin and I can add it to the rotation. I think I can stream up to 20 places at one time.
Well, see, I made you an admin, but you have to accept it, but you never did, so I don't know.
I thought I did. Oh, the cactus. I thought I did.
Yeah.
I thought I did. I did, like,
it's all right. I'm only playing with you.
You ready for this? I didn't know I was an admin of the YouTube group or the fauna group. I think I'm like all messed up right now. The leopard gecko group. I had no clue I was a mod of it until I was posting. I'm like, why does it say moderator next to my name? I had no clue. I didn't know. So someone must have made me a mod, and I don't even know the admin.
I'm the admin of World of Hognose on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
And a few other groups. So, but let me pick your brain for a minute. I seen a post that you had made on Facebook about the leopard gecko, and you're chasing the ultimate rarest of all leopard geckos, the Patty Bell line.
Yeah, the Patty Bell. the Patty.
I have to start charging.
He laughed again.
Sorry.
But the Patty Bell is a very rare gecko. It's been a dream of mine since the first time I had a project started going towards it. But finding Patty Het Bells is hard to do, and so I was on my verge of getting some pure GGG patternless from Marsha, and it didn't happen before I had my loss of all my geckos. And now I got myself a pure Patty male, and I got my Bell stuff. I was going to go after it this year and breed them together and make my hets. And of course, I was talking to Miles of Impeccable Gecko, and he's like, "Well, I got this," and I seen it online, and he had Max Snow, Het Patty, Het Bell, but he had a tangerine animal that was Het Patty, Het Bell, Het Eclipse, and I wanted that male. It was on hold, so I ended up getting a pair of Max Snow, Het Patty, Het Bell. Well, that tangerine now is available again. I'm thinking about buying it, but I would have 3 males that are Het Patty, Het Bell. So I don't know if I need that. So I'm going to take my pure Met Patty, breed it to my Bell group. I have 3 females I'm going to breed it to. They're all unrelated. So then I'll have that group that's unrelated to the Max Snow Het Patty Bell group, and I'll take them and then take their kids, and hopefully I hit it. Pat Klein of Luxurious Leos hit it. He's got the only picture up that I've ever seen. It's on.
I don't think I've ever seen one myself. I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's on Leopard Gecko Wiki. We have to trust that it's a Bell but it does look like a Bell. It's got that light eye. Bells don't have that dark ruby eye. They got that lighter eye. Then there was a person in the UK, I won't say their name, that produced one, but it ended up being Tremper was in the line. So was it a Bell? Was it a Tremper? And that's going to be kind of what we get into later, because was it a Tremper or was it a Bell? And then Matt Baronic is the only other one that I know created one. And he kind of mentioned it to me in the past, and he talked to Miles about it, but his group was so large. We think it's mutations are a mistake anyway, but we think when Miles was talking to me saying that when the patty goes to an animal, the Bell albino gene can't. And when the Bell albino gene goes to an animal, the patty gene can't. And when it does happen, it's a genetic freak of a mistake. And that's why it's happened 3 times. And it is the rarest gecko in the world. I mean, I don't think there's any alive right now.
2 all beef patty specialty. That's from Danny Menendez. All right, Frank the Tank. See you later. Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
And so the Bell gene is something I go after with everything. Everything's gonna be mixed in Bell. Now I do got pure macularis. That's het nothing. So I will be using that at the best I can to break down some other genes, so then I can start over from scratch. I had a lengthy conversation last night about someone that actually said that no one cares, except for the old breeders on Facebook, that leopard geckos have pure genetics. No one cares. So I was like, oh, okay. No one cares. And the way I say it is, the perfect example is that person that bred overseas had a patternless albino animal. It was found to be Tremper in that line. Did he have a Patty Bell or did he have a Patty Tremper? You can't tell. You can't tell without breeding it, and it didn't breed.
Leonardo wants to know if there's any health issues if you hit it. Do you know of any health issues?
The ones that were born seem to be all grow to adulthood that I know of. I never seen Matt Baronic's personally. Never. He never showed me a picture of it. Pat Klein is the only person I know that showed pictures. They said, here it is. And his was an animal when he shared the pictures of 25, 30 grams. Now, did they breed? I don't think they bred. I don't know, because 3 people haven't really said anything other than that. That they got it. Once you get the visual, it should be easier to hit it again. But I mean, you could have a visual breed that hets and just don't line up again. Do they die? No, I don't believe they'll die.
All right. No, that's how far out are you from doing it? Do you think how many generations or how many years?
I have a chance this year with that one pair.
Okay.
Am I going to hit it? Probably not. With how rare it is. If it does hit, I already told Miles I'm going to take care of if I hit 2. Miles is the only other person going for it, and I believe he has a trio he's putting together this year, I think. But he has Eclipse in his line. And Eclipse is a strong gene. Eclipse is just a strong gene. And I won't hit it with my personal. I would have been 2 to 3 years out with mine. So he kind of puts me a year ahead. Because I have het-to-het animals going this year. My personal collection was just pure Bell to Patty.
So
we'll
do you consider that your project of the year?
It's my white whale. I won't sell any of it. It's my white whale. If I hit it, I will put it out there. I won't be the first to hit it. But it is my white whale. The project of the year. I don't even know. I mean, I got the clouded stuff I'm trying to prove out. I mean, I got the white and yellow stuff that doesn't excite me anymore. The pure macularis is kind of cool, and that's just for personal level. The pure macularis is something that I should produce 10 to 12 animals out of that pair. I'm going to incubate for 4 males. I'm going to hold back 3 more, so I have 4 pure males, and then I'm going to hold back all the females. I'm only going to sell maybe 1, 2 animals out of the group. So maybe that.
All right. What's the what other geckos do you plan to like work with this year on a big scale? I know you're trying to get a lot of leopard geckos out there and stuff, but like, is there like any other species that you are excited to be working with this year?
My tokays kind of excite me. The tokays are gonna be kind of cool.
Tokays are cool. I'll admit it. Tokays are cool.
I got some gargoyles. This will be the first year I do gargoyles. I got gargoyles that's going to go this year. I got the cresteds, but the gargoyles are kind of cool. But I like the ones that are like silver. That everyone else is like, oh, that's not that cool. Them are the low end ones. Them are my favorite ones. They're like the silverish ones. And let's see. I got fat tails now. Hopefully they go. Other
fat tails are cool too. Do you find anything difficult about the fat tails at all?
Crickets. I hate
crickets. That's what everybody says. Crickets.
I hate crickets. It's the same thing. I talked to Barry Gardner, and I was like, dude, just be honest, straightforward. I mean, will they eat mealworms? He goes, the first year you're golden, they'll eat mealworms. After the first year, they only want crickets. I'm like, seriously. And it's true. I picked up one single male at the Sewer Fest at Show Me Show. Paige gave it to me or sold it to me. And so I bring them home and I'm like, okay, here, just eat these mealworms. No, one of crickets. He had to go get the crickets. That's the only cricket eater in my whole thing. Now, it did eat roaches, though. He will eat, but they got to be small. They won't.
Do you think there's any in particular reason that they go from they just switch off of mealworms or whatever and won't go back to?
And personally, I would think that they want the mealworms because they're lazier than leopard geckos. They're like lazy, fat animals that just lay there and they move really slow. They're just, but no, they want crickets. They're weird. It's just a weird thing.
Wally Kern is in here. Wally, do you have any crickets at all? I mean, crickets. We know you got crickets because you got a bug room. Do you have any fat-tailed geckos or anything like that in your collection? And so what all do you want to talk about tonight then?
Well, the one thing is, okay, we all know that there's something happened on the Facebook pages about ethics of breeding the L word, lemon frost. And let's see, just did a third pairing ever, the Tremper from you, Gary. That let's just do this. That could be. Oh, there you go, Leonardo. Yep. To the total eclipse test for hets and you're gonna. That's a good way to do it. So basically, I want to talk about the lemon frost, and I want to talk about ethics of breeding. I don't want to put out names. I'm not going to argue with people. I'm not going to do all that. And I want to tell you why ethics of breeding, and another conversation I had with this person, why it's important to have pure genetics in leopard geckos. And he kept comparing it to ball pythons. So they're two different ball games. They're two different huge ball games. And not even doing a pun of ball, but ball games. Leopard geckos have 3 albino lines. 3. And I put up a test the other day on one of the gecko groups and said, here, what are these? If you guys noticed, a lot of the veteran breeders knew they were rainwaters. A lot of them. They're rainwaters. But all the new people didn't know they were rainwaters. So if I had an animal that was het rainwater and het Tremper and let's say a pair of them, and they hatched out albinos, what line would they be? You couldn't tell.
Mm-mm.
You wouldn't be able to tell if they were Tremper albinos or rainwater albinos or whatever. That's why we don't mix the lines. The lines. You know how to do that. I gotta learn some of these
new gadgets, right?
Yeah, I gotta learn some of these. So we had a conversation, and it was a good, solid conversation. I'm going to say that. It was a good, solid conversation. He caught me at the end of the night, and I was tired as can be, but I said, let's give this guy whatever. And he said that only old breeders care about the pure genetics. and that it's only old breeders on Facebook that care. And I'm like, old breeders on Facebook. Okay, old breeders on Facebook. I didn't get what he was saying there, but I humored him. And he thought I was upset at him. I'm like, no, I'm not upset at you. I'm just not. It just is what it is. And if I didn't want to talk to you, I wouldn't talk to you. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the ethics of keeping lines pure and not mixing the albino traits and the eclipse traits and the eye traits, should I say, the eye traits and stuff like that is, let's say someone wants to breed, let's say a simple trait as marble eye, and they want marble eye trempers. If you have mixed traits and you can't tell marble eye and eclipse, and a marble eye and eclipse, if you have an animal double het for both, it's going to be really hard to tell which one it is. So let's say you hatch it out and you know that eclipse is in that group and marble eye is in that group, and you sell that animal. They could breed them two animals together, and they're not going to get any eye trait because one's an eclipse, one's a marble eye. Mm-hmm. It's a bad news. It's bad news. So you just ruined that person's project. All they wanted to do is make some raptors. That's all they wanted to do was make some raptors. So now they got animals that are het marble eye and het eclipse, and it's a muddy mess. So our ethics and our experience as leopard gecko breeders should be, if a person wants to have eclipse, they're going to buy eclipse. If they want marble eye, they're going to buy marble eye. If they want tremper albino, they're going to buy tremper albino. They don't want a mixed podge of everything. He said that people like doing it that way. That was the excuse. He goes, people like getting surprises.
And that's the furthest thing from the truth right there. Because I know almost everybody you talk to, not even the older people, they think it needs to stay pure line like that.
Yeah, it's just one of them things that we have to, as a group, have ethics when it comes to selling what we have. He told me that everything is het everything unless it's proved out. And I told him
that's bull snakes.
Yeah. And I said, well, I know my line of patty's pure. And I know that I have a pure bell line. I have a pure line. And I told him I welcome anyone to test them anytime. It doesn't matter to me. And then I was told that it's my way or the highway. And I said, no, it's not my way or the highway. Uh-oh.
Nanette said hello.
And Wally.
She said hello. And Wally. And Wally. I didn't forget your Wally.
So, and then the conversation came up because of lemon frost. People are going to know what's going on with the lemon frost gene. And there's a difference between breeding the lemon frost and shipping animals. I
was going to say that. That was the next thing they were saying.
There's a difference. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I will admit, because I watched the video, I will admit that there is a chance for your animal to die if you ship your animal. 100% there's a chance. Okay. The percent is lower than breeding lemon frost. Mm-hmm. But the lemon frost has 3 papers on it. And I keep going back to this.
One paper is really short.
Yes. How could it be? Yeah, I agree. And hatching eggs. Hatching eggs is totally different because in the wild, less eggs hatch in the wild than they do in captivity.
Here's another thing I have to say. Suffering and being in pain are 2 different things too.
Yes.
Because they were saying pain, it's not in pain. Well, it might not be in pain, but that don't mean it's not suffering in a way.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's say I had a tumor sticking out of my neck that made my neck go like this. It didn't cause me pain, but I would suffer. Mm-hmm. Or let's say this: a tumor's behind my eye and makes me go blind, but I don't have pain.
Nope, but you're still suffering.
I'm suffering.
Yeah.
Now here's what he said that the Enigma gene. He keeps going back to the Enigma gene and what other people do. And my last comment, one of my last comments to this person was, I am not a follower, I'm a leader. I do what I think is right. I don't follow other people's leads and then make excuses why I can do bad. Okay. So the lemon frost gene, we know makes tumors. Quality of life is exactly
it. Yep.
The quality of life. So I pushed through this live video, or it wasn't a live video at the time. It was just a video because I didn't hit it when it was live. But he was showing a lemon frost, and it had a tumor on it.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it.
Okay, so I think he's misunderstanding what is going on with the gene, because the gene is not just tumors on the outside. They're internal tumors. There's tumors that grow in the mouth. There's tumors that grow in the ear hole. There's tumors that grow in the intestines. There's tumors everywhere. So if we're starting to see them on the outside, my buddy John Scarborough, everyone knows John, Gecko Boa.
Yeah, I was just going to say Gecko Boa.
He donated some that showed no tumors on the outside, and when they were killed, just to be studied, they found tumors internal. So here's my thing: is he didn't realize it had a tumor until and I agree with you, he did not. He was shocked and he tried to cover it, which he did a really good job of covering it up. Okay, he was like, "Oh yeah, we knew about that." Here's
Did you
my
see Wally's comment there? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't realize it had a tumor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. I respect John Scarborough to the fullest. John Scarborough is one of the most honest people I've ever met. John Scarborough invested a lot of money into the lemon frost. Don Hamilton invested a lot of money. Yeah, so the live stream did. But Don Hamilton, and my problem with this is just not the lemon frost. But I'll get into that in a minute. But these two men, Don Hamilton and John Scarborough, donated their collection, did not sell them. This person said that John Scarborough sold his collection. He did not sell them. He donated them. And these papers came out, and that was enough for me. The reason that we're not going to breed them as long as people bred Enigmas is we learned from our mistake. The Enigma was out there. It had an issue. The ethical breeder said, we're done with this, and we're not breeding them no more. Because we learned we're not going to take 15 years. We seen a problem with them. We found out the problem. It was good enough for the breeders. We're moving on. Is outcrossing going to be okay? He keeps throwing out scientific, and let me get back in focus here. He keeps throwing out scientific data. Breeding 1.3 animals is not scientific. It's not enough data. It's not enough.
That's what Wally was saying. Wally was like, "How many eggs are you producing? How many are being hatched? That's what we got to go by numbers. We can't go by." That's what Wally was saying.
To tell you the truth, if we were going to actually do this, we're going to have to produce lemon frost on the level I produce everything. So we're going to have to produce 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 lemon frost to get the data that's needed to say this is that. Now, here's this is my big question about the lemon frost. What is their threshold? Where's their line saying 50% get tumors? Is that good enough for them? Or is it 25% get tumors? Is that good enough for them? Where's that? Why aren't they coming out with the data saying if we prove that 50% don't get tumors, we're going to continue on with this project?
Yeah. See, now here's what I was saying. Now, I was watching that live stream when it was live, and I don't know how many he's got, how many of those lemon frost he has in his collection. But there's one right there that he can't use for reproduction because it has the tumors, so then it'll be transferred on. And that was definitely a classic tumor of the lemon frost. If you can look up the lemon frost tumors and then look at that tumor, they're identical. Now, I got to give him, I have respect for the individual because he's very passionate about what he does, but I think he's passionate about the wrong thing.
Yeah. And Paul, I haven't given a name yet, Paul. I haven't given I don't want to slam the guy because he felt he's being bullied. I don't bully anybody.
No.
But at the same time, anyone can tell you I'm going to call it like it is. And he is very passionate. He's a very passionate person. But now I did tell him this. If I see him sell one lemon frost, he just proved to me it's about money. He will have to literally keep every animal produced for up to 6 to 7 years to tell me that it's not. And that's every animal, every year, every single time. So he's planning on producing 1,000. He told me 1,000 geckos, like it was a flex. He was flexing 1,000 geckos, and I'm like, dude, okay. I've hatched, me personally, I've hatched in a day what he's produced in his lifetime. And I told him that. Then I did tell him, I said, hey, when you start hatching these levels, you're going to start understanding what I'm saying. And you're going to look back and go, that Gary guy was right. That's what he's going to say. And I mean, he kind of flexed to me. He's like, I'm going to produce 1,000 geckos. I'm like, okay, cool. Awesome. Good job. You know, like, do you know how much work that is? It's a lot of work. But the sample size that he's going to do, like 1.3 or something like that, he's going to do.
Well, you can't even do 1.3 now. One's gone. It's got a tumor.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not gonna be good. And then he says pure Turks, and he's gonna breed them back. So he's got to have pure Turks. I think he's using Turks, right? So he's gonna have to have female pure Turks there, and he's not gonna line breed, right? He says he's not gonna inbreed. So the female Turks that he uses this year, he has to get rid of and get new Turks that's out of that line. If he's not going to inbreed, because he keeps putting out there that he doesn't inbreed. He's not a line breeder.
Now,
And
isn't that tumor related to the pigment cells of the animal or something? I think I've read that somewhere.
the tumors are linked to the pigment of the gecko. It has something to do with the white pigment of the gecko, and lemon frost has more white. John Scarborough told me he has not seen one that has not produced tumors, but he did donate his collection. Don Hamilton has said this. I won't bother Steve Sykes with this. Steve Sykes, of course, is the one that bought it from Gourmet, and he got them in, and he produced them. He sold them off before he knew about the tumors. I truly believe that he did not know about the tumors when he sold them. I believe John Scarborough was one of the first ones to bring them out and said, hey, something's wrong with this. Because I remember a post John saying, hey, what's going on? Does anyone else have this with lemon frost? Is lemon frost doing this? And I'm not joking. I was in talks with people to get lemon frost. I was like, this is a new gene. I need it, you know? And I am so glad I did not win that auction. I'm so glad.
I have a buddy who was a Tinley. His name is Ben. Fire and Ice.
Yep.
Yeah, he was bidding on that one that they had at the Tinley show for the first one that they were letting out.
So my brother was there. I was bidding on it.
He bid like $8,000 on that, and he didn't win it. And I bet you right now he's like, whew.
Now, did Steve Sykes make his money back? Yeah, and I do know for a fact that Steve Sykes did try to make it right to some people that he sold to. I do know that. Steve Sykes is a good guy. Let's see what this is. The fact it's a newer more people just can't accept the fact something's wrong with it until they are seeing the mess for themselves. Same as super of lily white and crested people. Yeah, I agree with you Chris. 100%.
You know, I saw a video the other day, and I forgot I was going to share it with you, Wally. I was going to share it with Wally and you, of a person with a lily white, and they think they're going to be able to do it. And I'm like, they say you can't. I don't think I would mess with it.
And he kept bringing up ball pythons. The thing is people are over fixing the spider gene. It can't be fixed. The people are breeding are just like, I don't care that they wobble. And I told them that. And I'm like, the lemon frost is defective. It just is. The Enigma is defective. There's people that breed Enigma.
I know. You still see them.
Tony Kittner and Angela Kittner breed them. But they will be the first to say that they will wobble. They're saying, we try to breed for this and do certain things. But they'll tell you that they'll wobble. I mean, I was hatching out Enigmas with no feet. It was really weird. I mean, I was hatching out some weird stuff.
Did they ever do a complete study on the Enigma and say what part of the genetics, like with the lemon frost, they know it's related to the pigment cells? Do they know what causes the Enigma to do the wobble or the spinning? Or
don't know. When I first got into it, JMG got me into leopard geckos.
Yes, we did, Wally.
Yeah, we had to go there. And the Jags. It's the same thing. Paul said Jag carpets. Same thing.
Yes.
And JMG got me into reptiles. I mean, into geckos. And I seen Enigma. And I seen it on his table. I forget what it was. It might have been like a snow enigma. And I used to call them codominant snows. I would not call them max snows. I say codominant snows. The reason I did that is because Junior called them codominant snows. Well, there's no codominant. We know that in reptiles, it's incomplete dominant. But anyways, I was looking at these max snow enigmas. And the first thing he told me is, Gary, there's an issue with enigma. The very first thing he told me. I laid out, I forget, it had to be $700, $800 back in 2006 for a Super Snow Enigma that was possible het Tremper. And that's how I started my Enigma stuff. And I was going after the Dream, what's now the Dreamsicle, and I was calling it the Dream. And he says, Gary, I've tried, we haven't hit it yet. I hit it the very first egg with that animal. I hit it, but it had no feet. It had no feet. And it was weird. No, it was just weird.
I know with ball pythons, if there was a genetic out there or a morph or anything that you bred it or it would get tumors or anything, they wouldn't do it no more. They really wouldn't. And I really know, even if it looks cool, they just wouldn't touch it. Because there are lethal genes out there. There's the champagne to champagne is lethal. The spider to spider is lethal, but they don't breed them together, but they're okay by themselves. But if one of them genetics caused the snake to get a tumor or in something like that, I know that they would not even breed it.
Most don't. I do know some people that were breeding a lemon frost at the beginning and just kept doing it, and they didn't care. But I mean, the lemon frost isn't like the enigma with the neurological issues. The reason is it sometimes takes 3, 4, 5 years to hit it. And sometimes it's breeding them that make it happen.
Yep.
And it's just an ethical thing. There's other stuff to make it happen. There's other stuff to go. Super Motley Boa. Yes, Paul.
Yes, there you go.
I am sitting there.
I forgot about that. Super Motley Boa is deadly too. They'll live for like 2 years and then they die. It's just strange. So yeah, Enigma
costs a lot of money, and I was just getting in the leopard gecko game at that time, and it just took me about a season and a half, 2 years to say the Enigma gene is garbage. I was hurting more animals than I was selling animals, and the animals I was selling were spinning, but they weren't my worst. It's almost impossible to take an Enigma to a show and put them through that stress without them sitting in the cup or the bin just spinning and just their head all whacked out and people picking up the tubs up and down, and it was impossible. And Junior loves his geckos so much that he was hand feeding Enigmas crickets because they couldn't catch them. He was caring for him that much.
Now, with let's say a new morph came out, would you wait a while before you got into it just to see if it had problems, or would you try to jump into it right away and do your own thing to see?
When the Enigma thing, I knew about it going in, so I jumped right in. I was like, okay, there's an issue, and I compared it to Spider Ball. I did right away. I was like, okay, it's a thing. Lemon Frost. As soon as I heard it, I stopped. I told the person I'm not interested anymore. I was talking to somebody. Now I'm more laid, I don't want that. Like the lily whites. I know Wally's gonna say the lily whites. I'm not a crested gecko breeder. I breed crested geckos, but I'm not a crested gecko breeder. If you know what I'm saying. I'm not into it to produce the newest stuff. Lily whites are amazing looking. I don't care what anyone says. They're amazing looking, but I don't know if I would breed for that with that issue. Now I just kind of sit back and I wait. They give another example about, what this guy did. It really bothered me is he told me he has thousands of hours of studying and he knows everything about gecko genetics and all the morphs out there. He didn't know what red stripe was. Red stripe's the oldest, one of the oldest line bred traits out there. And then he said on a live that it was recessive. And then the Black Knight. He's all about the Black Knight and how it's inbred. And I'm like, then why aren't you buying pearls and charcoals to outbreed it? The charcoal's been around, 15 years?
At least.
I mean, So
The pearl's been around really long too.
Yeah, the pearl's been around. All this has been around, and the Black Knight, it was just what someone's seen, and they're like, "That's what I want." And the Black Knight come over here, and it's got issues. The charcoal doesn't have them issues. I've seen it.
Well, I know with ball python breeders now, I know that they have the caramel albino, which is a kinking issue, major. I mean, like the snake will look like this; it'll kink in, and then it's bad. So there's still people that do breed it, but 90% of the people, I'm going to say, of 99%, have just totally stopped.
I can tell you stories about the caramel albino too. I used to be offered all the time because I did buy wholesale back in the day and resell. And caramel albino people say, "Dude, I'll give you this male for $50. It's got a kink, but it eats at a breed." I swear to God,
I believe
caramel albinos were expensive.
Yeah, when they were like $1,000, I'm sure you know that.
And so I'm looking at these. I'm looking at super cinnies. Super cinnamon ball pythons have issues. And everyone's got to draw their line somewhere. All of them got to draw their line. But I told him no one's telling him what to do. But he's got to understand that there's going to be pushback for what he does. Everyone's not going to like it. And I honestly feel that he's not going to sell stuff except to new people. And it's sad. I mean, it's sad because I won't buy from him. I wouldn't buy an animal from it. And it's nothing to do with the lemon frost. Everyone's going to be shocked. It's because I seen him sell an animal he did not know what albino was het for. He said something like, "The mom was Bell. I bred it to this. It could be Het Tremper, but let's call it Het Bell." That's how he listed it.
I've seen that. I've seen that too.
I was like, I'll never buy an. I will never. I don't care if it's the hottest looking gecko.
Leonardo, I believe most of them die in the egg, but I think there was one that did hatch and died like right away after it was hatched. But don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. Now the problem with the lily white is some lily whites aren't really bright. So how, let's say somebody bred a bunch of them and sent them out and you wouldn't know it was in it. That's where the problem's going to be with the lily white, I think. When other people, you got all these crested geckos and you're breeding them together and not realizing they were both lily white, or you have a lily white and you want to breed into something and then there's lily white in the line somewhere.
And crested geckos just starting to it's really a young thing still. Morphs are out there, but Wally can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a lot of line bred stuff. A lot of,
yes,
there was no recessive. Yeah. Why geckos, and that's what's different between a gecko breeder and a ball python breeder. We had a talk, and I'll bring it up. I'll say Brian Barczyk all day long. Brian Barczyk knows genetics. Brian Barczyk does not know geckos. He can't ID a gecko. He cannot look at a gecko and go, "That's a white and yellow." He struggles. Is that against him? No. He doesn't breed his leopard geckos, guys. He hired somebody. And Brian Barczyk loves animals. And I don't care what anyone says. I'll say it live right now. Someone's going to say, "Yeah, but he does this." Totally understand what you're saying. I understand where he's coming from. I don't agree with everything he does. There's a difference. And I keep saying this. But he struggles, or whoever's IDing his gecko struggles, because I can look at it and say, that's not visually that. It's just not it. And that's my problem. And I try to tell him that.
I agree with you, Wally, with the selling thing. And it's a major issue if you start selling them, yes. I think I compared him to being on a ship, and he's the captain of the ship, and he's going to go down with the ship.
Well, about the selling thing, in conversations I've had with him personally, I think he may hold off on selling the lemon frost, but then maybe not. He might sell it behind closed doors. Like he said the other day that he doesn't want to say who sold him the geckos. It's on one of his videos. He unboxed it and says where he got them. He says right where he got the lemon frost.
Yeah, I knew. I thought he said where he got them from.
So I mean, if you're gonna do it, do it. If you're not gonna do it, don't do it. What I told him, now someone might disagree with me here. What I told him is, if you're gonna breed the lemon frost and you want to prove the world wrong, go for it. Don't put it out to the world right now and act like you know everything after you produce 50 eggs of nothing. Put the 2 to 3 years into it and then come out and say, hey, look, I've bred these things for 3 years. None of my stock has tumors. I've actually had them x-rayed or had this done to them or had this done to them. The ultrasound's done to them. I've put the time and money into it. I have proof, guys. Look what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But now he runs the risk of looking a fool. First impressions, everything. Everything. First impressions, everything.
I agree.
So now when he looks a fool, everyone's gonna say this. If he proves it outright, cool beans, awesome. We eat our words. But it didn't look so hot for that third generation gecko he showed.
No. I don't. I kind of feel sorry for his partner if his partner doesn't realize what's going on. If his partner doesn't understand everything, you know what I'm saying? Because he definitely has a partner.
I will give you this. Okay, I know his friend is a doctor. Okay, I have a very good friend that's a surgeon, and when I asked him about gecko health issues in animals, he says, "I'm not a veterinarian." His exact words. He goes, "Gary, I'm not a veterinarian." And yes, and that's why I'm saying, Wally. See, Wally says we're gonna prove it out and then publish it.
Yes.
To get that's exactly what I told him to do, and he said everyone wants to read it. And I said, go work on the project, prove it, and then come out with the proof and say this is it. Because if he's not, I feel he's crapping on them 3 papers that were done. Them people are very smart. The people that did them papers are smart. They're smarter than me.
Well, he did the 3. He sent me the 3 papers, and the one I'm telling you, it's like a paragraph long.
Yeah. Well, there's not much done. I mean, I could do. Now, what he's saying is these people don't do it. When I do it, Gary, when I do it, I'll put it out, and I'll be the one that proves it out right or wrong. What's his credentials? You know what I'm saying? I'm taking the credentials of breeders that's done it before him, and he says that just because the foundation's laid, we shouldn't listen to it. Change is good. Foundation is still where it's at. Everything he's doing right now has been done 10 times.
Well, everything. I know when he found the one when he was showing it and he found the tumor. I wasn't there right when he showed it the first time, but he did come back and show it. And when I looked at it, then he started saying, I'm not 100% sure that's a tumor. That could be anything. You know, then he started with I'm not sure that's a tumor.
That I could see when I looked at it and I zoomed in on it, it's identical to where it starts.
Oh, yeah, identical, yeah.
And okay, I'll give an example. If he wants to go human doctor, just because you don't have tumors that bump up doesn't mean your freckles aren't cancer, right?
Yep.
So what the problem is we only can see what's the skin, the outside of the body is like 20% of the body. Like 20% of the body. Then the internals are the rest. They found tumors in the intestines and the kidneys, I believe, the bladder, the lungs. They found these tumors internally everywhere. I think the only thing that wasn't affected by tumors in the paper, what I heard, was the heart. Was the only thing. But they found tumors in lungs. I don't care what you're saying. If tumors keep growing in lungs, you're going to die.
If it grows in the lungs in your intestines or anything, you'll get so you can't go to the bathroom. They'll get so they can't go to the bathroom. They'll get so they can't eat nothing. Gary, I had a discussion with you before we came on that today I have a
you gotta go.
I have something I have to take care of. Gary will continue on. This will not next week when we come on. And Gary, I'll talk to you during the week. If you have time, we can do this more than once a week.
Yeah, we can do lives. We can do this for sure.
So, but you're going to continue on with the conversation and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sit here and talk to these guys for a little bit.
I deeply apologize, everybody, that I have to run. But when my son needs me, I have to go help jump to the. And if I don't, then. Well, I will drive. I can't jump that far. So, all right, everybody. Gary will continue on. I'll talk to everybody later and talk to you later. Bye.
All right. See you. Well, you can do this. Boom. So, to get back on some of the stuff, if we dip my toes back in, the breeding has been crazy, but it's just a select few. And I think the point that he's outcrossed is based for moving this project forward, not defending, but trying to understand. Oh, I get what he's saying. I honestly do. I get that he's wanting to outbreed, and he thinks that the Turk blood's going to do it. The best way I could say it is, I don't know. Let me see if I can't use ball pythons because they don't have subspecies like the geckos do. I just don't see it working because it was linked to that melanin. It's linked to that white melanin. The way I read it. Oh, mom and pop, yeah. The hobbies it's different today, and the way he was telling me is that we need to branch out. And what I told this gentleman was, I said, put the lemon frost on the side, don't bring it up anymore, and breed good geckos. And the thing that really gets me is he's not giving credit where credit's due, and he thinks I shouldn't be. We shouldn't do that because the foundation of people, they shouldn't get credit all the time. Like Red Stripes was a JMG thing. Rainwater was Tim Rainwater, and Tremper Albino was Ron Tremper, and Bell Albino was Mark and Kim Bell. Has anyone? Yes. It has been outcrossed many times. This is not new. There was people right after the studies that started doing it right away. I'm not sure if Turk was used. Fascio probably was used first, but I don't think Turk was used right away, but it probably was part of it. So the outcrossing has happened. And I agree, the hobby is totally different than what it was 24 years ago, 25 years, 30 years ago. It used to be back in the day, we all shared our thoughts. And, I told this gentleman, I said, these people that above us that laid the foundation, they teach from our mistakes. And that's why I was trying to tell him is like, I've made these mistakes. I thought I could do this. I thought I could do that. It just doesn't work. Like, he thinks that the way I take what this gentleman's doing is he's taken and he thinks the tumors are linked to macularis. If it was linked to macularis, and it wasn't linked just to lemon frost, wouldn't the lemon frost pass it to both the normal offspring and the lemon frost offspring when you bred it to a macularis? So 50% of them would be normal looking. You would have, normal looking animals, but they would get tumors too. Yes, and I agree with that. Form mentality to TikTok mentality. He keeps bringing up Facebook to me and saying Facebook, and I keep saying, Bud, I was big. I had a big YouTube back in the day, and I had TRR back in the day, and it was a form. It was different, and it feels different today. The lemon frost thing really bothers me. It just really, really bothers me. That if he doesn't sell anything, awesome. But I'm hoping he has a huge place because that's a lot of lemon frost. He's got to produce for years and years. And we'll see what happens. And the other thing that we were talking about was ID and morphs. Like he says he has a red stripe that popped up, and I was trying to explain to him. Leopard geckos are line bred. What's YouTube? Exactly, Jace. What's YouTube? I agree. But this gentleman said he had a red stripe pop up, and I was trying to explain to him what line bred is, poly is. He goes, it's line bred, blah, blah, blah. And you have to have that in. And I said, no, take hypo. You could have two animals that aren't hypo in leopard geckos. And you breed them together and you get a hypo. It's because hypo's been bred into so much stuff. It just pops out now. It just happens. And I agree with you. Paul, I agree with you. The lemon frost thing, when it was in its heyday, I thought it was it was done, and I thought people were done. And I know there was sprinkles of people doing it, and this guy keeps saying, "Well, other people are breeding it." I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a reason the person that sold it to you does not want you to say anything. There's a reason when I go on Morph Market, there's only one person that sells them. There's a reason for this. And the reason for that is there's an issue with the lemon frost gene. Is it a beautiful morph without the tumors? Take the tumors out of the situation. Take them out. It's a beautiful morph. It can have really, really good things for the color of a gecko, but they also have eye issues. I see bulging eyes in a lot of them. But the lemon frost just isn't a gene that we can work with. It just isn't. It's just something that we shouldn't work with. And if you're going to be teaching people, and this is something I talked to with another friend, I would rather not put out YouTube content or content online. I would rather not than put out wrong content. I would rather not support something than support something that's wrong. And I feel that this person, how should I put it? He's very passionate, but he wants that fame. He wants that spotlight. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. He just wants the spotlight. Which, who doesn't? I mean, who really doesn't want the spotlight? I mean, seriously. But lemon frost was a quick way to get a lot of people looking at you. It's not in the way that you want, but how many people can say that publicity, bad publicity is not bad, it's good. But I wish he would have an understanding. He told me that he learned a lot of genetics from Leopard Gecko Wiki. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. Okay? I'm going to tell you guys a story. JMG sold me a Super Snow. And I agree. But JMG sold me a Super Snow Enigma. I told you guys about it earlier. And the rest of my geckos were albino and super hypotangerines and stuff like this. I have never produced a snow animal at this time. So when I was hatching animals, okay, I was starting to hatch animals, and my first animal from that was a codominant snow, or that's why I called them codom snow. That's why I went back there. But it was a Max Snow Enigma. I knew what that was right away. I'm like, whoa, look at that whacked out stuff. That's sweet. But then I hatched out, like 2 or 3 clutches later, a black and white animal. Black bands, really dark brown black bands. I'm like, what is this? I had no clue what it was. I was doing YouTube at the time, and I'm like embarrassed by this. I'm like, whoa, look at this. It's something new. It was just a Max Snow. It was literally just a Max Snow. But I had no clue what it was because I never hatched it before. I had no clue what I was looking at. Nothing. Jeff was like, dude, it's a Max Snow. What are you so excited about? It's a Max Snow. Or he called it at the time a codominant snow. This was 5-ish years ago that all of these things John laid out happened. The immediate reaction should have been immediate stop of the propagation, but it wasn't. It was a couple years before. And I agree with you so much. Oh, I know you, bud. I know. 100%. I know. You're not grilling me. Paul, we're cool. We're always cool. It's just, it should have been stopped a long time ago. After someone like John Scarborough and Don Hamilton bring something to the forefront that there's something wrong with these animals and they donate everything they have to it, that should be enough for us. Honestly, that should be enough. If there was something not wrong with it, John would still have them. If there was something not wrong, Don would still have them. This is the way it would be. We would be seeing the animals produced by John Scarborough and Don Hamilton of this Lemon Frost, and Fire and Ice would have them, because I know Fire and Ice produced, or not produced. I don't know if they produced them, but they had them, so these people would still have these genes, but these people that paid thousands, not 200, not 300, thousands of dollars for single animals, said it's over, and they walked away. That's ethics. That's saying this animal is not good for the community. Is it cool looking? Yes, but it's not worth it. Just like Enigma. I honestly don't feel Enigma was. And this person has not bred enough to see what happens. He's telling people how to incubate. He's telling people, goes, if you incubate at 89 degrees, it will be 100% male, because I never produced anything wrong. You've hatched 50 geckos. When you hatch 1,500, let me know. Remember, that's what happened when I did that snow. I'm not joking. I was so excited. I'm like, what is this? I've never seen one before, because a Max Snow adult doesn't look that way. They're yellow. And I'm like, whoa, look at this. I was so excited. I was like, oh my Lord. I believe I'll find the video, because I show the Max Snow Enigma, and I'm like, oh, this is my first one, and it's awesome, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm so excited. But Kelly Hammock really disappointed me in a way. She helped me, but she disappointed me, because I'm showing it on the video, and I was so excited about that. And I was showing the snow. But when I published it, she goes, Gary, look at your Enigma. It had different eyelids. It was like clipped on both sides. Seriously, clipped. Now, was it the Enigma gene? Who knows? But I had so much problem with Enigma stuff. I mean, so much problem with Enigma stuff. So I gave up. I was like, Enigma's gone. And then white and yellow came out, and then people were saying white and yellow had the white and yellow syndrome. That's what people are calling it. And my white and yellows don't spin. I did have a line back before I lost my collection back in the day that they were spinning, but it was the Tremper albino line that I got. But my Bell line never spun. And I was like, what's going on? And I was talking to Morgan and Jeff, and I was like, what's going on with this? They're starting to spin, and we started talking about it. And then John Scarborough released how, some do, and you can outbreed that, and he outbred it. And that's what I honestly think, that some people think you can outbreed these tumors, because some things, I guess, were outbred. I just don't know if Lemon Frost can be, in my professional opinion as a leopard gecko breeder, I don't see it. As a medical profession, I'm not a medical profession, so I have no clue. How cancer works, again, I have no clue. How tumors work, again, I have no clue. I lost my collection in 2014 to overheating of one of my thermostats that was running 3 racks. It was able to run 3 racks. And I lost all my stuff when I was producing the Super Snow and white and yellows, my Super Snow white and yellow bells. I lost everything. I sold off what made it. I was crushed. I lost a lot of animals, and the stuff that did make it past the smoke and stuff, I sold off. So I was out of the hobby for like 3 years, because it crushed me. I crushed. The reason I didn't put it out there at the time was I owned the Gecko blog, and the Gecko blog did auctions for people that lost things or had stuff done to them. And I didn't want that auction. I just lost everything I worked for. And I didn't want that auction of people sending me stuff, and I didn't want that attention at the time. So literally I stopped breeding, and I moved to back to Green Bay. And I met Dylan of Dab Exotics, and he bought animals off of Impeccable Gecko, and he had them on his table, and I bought them all, and I got back into it. And them animals from Dab Exotics that were from Impeccable Gecko is what found it clouded. I still have all them animals are sitting over there right now. They found it clouded. So that was pretty cool. But I just wish that he would slow down, this person, and everyone slow down. If you don't know something, the words "I don't know" is not bad to say. Don't make up something. And he said brain farts and stuff. Don't say there's only two, and be very stern about it. There's only two dark lines, melanistic lines. I'm not even going to throw clouded in there because guess what, guys? Only 4 years old. Not even close. There's charcoal, there's black pearl, and there's carbon, there's black night. I'm sure there's other melanistic lines. I mean, bold can really be called a melanistic line because of bold patterns and stuff. It's just, and then understand what red stripe is and polygenetics and reverse stripes are and bold stripes are, because he was trying to tell me that bold stripes, because a little bit of bold popped out. That's not how it works. It's like, oh, you see this, you breed for it. Oh, that one's got yellow. I can do it. The yellow didn't pop out like randomly. That's what a gecko was. So they bred high yellows. Then a little orange spot was there and they bred for that. It wasn't a morph. It was created. When you line breed, it's more of creating a line. It didn't pop out the way it was. That's why it's called polygenetics and line breeding. You line breed for the direction you want. If I want lavender, I breed for lavender. If I want this, I breed for this. A morph genetically just popping out spontaneous would be the lemon frost. It just popped out. Or a Bell albino. It just popped out in the Bell albino line. Or did Bell bring that over? I forget. But it just popped out. That's the spontaneous part. But line breeding is not spontaneous at all. I could take my pure macularis I could breed and start breeding for a dark line from it. I could do it. I could breed for no spots. I could breed for spots. I could breed whatever I want. I just got to look at the animals. So people got to understand where they are in the hobby. After 2 years and 50 geckos produced, stand up, have fun, but don't knock down the foundation. Because when you knock down the foundation of anything, it's going to knock down the whole damn building. Without the foundation, you're done. So the Ron Trempers and let's just say the Ron Trempers, the Mark and Kim Bells, the Steve Sykes, and Tug, or are they Tar now or Tur? But everyone knows who Tug is. Tug and JMG and Matt Baranek and these people, they did play a part. Pat Klein played a part. The Inferno is Pat Klein. There's people that put down Pat Klein, but the Inferno is Pat Klein. And the Atomic, I forget his name. Is his name Jeff out of Texas? Matt Baranek sold the Atomic, but there's a guy in Texas that created the Atomic. The Atomic is known. Blood Hypo is it wasn't called Blood Tangerine. It was called Blood Hypo. There's a difference. So now people go, that's Blood Tangerine. Well, I still catch myself calling it Blood Hypo because that's what JMG called it. It was Blood Hypo. I held the original male in my hand looking at it. It's the ugliest thing in the world. Blood Hypo. So you give credit where credit's due. These people worked hard, and you got 2 seasons in. These people have 20 years in and done things that we only dream of. I'm not even putting myself in this list. I'm not. I've done some things here and there, but the foundation's laid. So my problem is you're not giving credit to the foundation. You're not giving Albie. Albie's another big one that did a lot of stuff. I mean, so these guys got gecko morphs named after them, guys. The Albie Snow and the Mac Snow. Everyone teases Mac and puts out Mac, but he has a snow leopard gecko named after him. Tug and Gem. It just, no matter what our opinions are, you got to give credit where credit's due. Don't crap on the people before you to try to make yourself better. You can give homage and credit to people and still make room for yourself to make a change. He thinks he has to put a hard change saying the past doesn't matter. Well, when you say the past don't matter and you're holding an animal saying it's a red stripe, I mean, he kept doing this. I felt bad. Marsha's huge. Marsha, Kelly Hammock. I mean, Marsha, Marsha is a big part of what I do now because Marsha was huge in pure lines. And her animals, her pure patties were an inspiration to what I do. And I'm trying to reverse engineer stuff. I'm trying to, make pure eclipses, pure patties, and pure this. There's so many people. Let's see. Let's put this up. Size subject people, line breeding need to understand that at some point within 10 gens, there's absolutely have to be some level of outcrossing that needs to happen. That's not talked about nearly enough. It may hamper the goals. I agree with you, Paul, 1,000%. How I do it, like I know that I got a very small group of my pure patties. So I want to make my pure macularis to put new line into that. Even though they're not inbred yet. I haven't line bred them at all. But I know at some point they're going to. So I got my pure macularis. I invested in pure macularis. It's going to set it aside. Like you said, it's going to set me back a little bit, but my lines are going to be better. Then my tangerine rainwaters. I have a group that 2 females are from one breeder, 2 females are from another breeder, my males from another breeder. So I have 3 different lines. And when I keep track of it, the father's going to be the same. So I need to produce myself a male and buy 2 more females, or produce females and go out and buy a male. That's why I buy males. Males are easier to add blood in. And what other one? My clouded. I have to outbreed it. It's 4 generations in. Now I do outcross it a lot, but my 4th gen, my pure 4th gens, they've been line bred a little bit. Not even a little bit. They've been line bred. So I was talking to someone about getting a Black Knight and putting him in there and seeing if that helps the Black Knight at all. Yeah, his was amazing. Kelly's amazing. I talked to Kelly about 6 months ago about I had a question about somebody, and I talked to Kelly. These people laid foundation that we're all on. They just did. And if we brush that aside, you're breeding animals that someone else made. The Black Knight wasn't me. If I had Black Knights, it wasn't me. I'm breeding someone else's product. I bought into it. So it has nothing to do with me. If I buy 2 geckos, let's say I buy 2 amazing looking geckos, I put them together, a 2-year-old can do that. A 2-year-old can breed geckos, guys. I mean, seriously, let's just be honest. I mean, it doesn't take any talent to put, 2 geckos together. It's just, you got to pay homage to what it is and learn from their mistakes. I've made mistakes. So if I've made a mistake and someone comes to me, I'm not going to sit there and tell them my mistake. I'm going to let them learn from it and say, don't do this because I messed up. And so is everyone else. Yeah, I appreciate it, Wally. I'm probably going to be jumping off here too. Well, we got a lot of people going, but I appreciate everyone tuning in. This one's going to be a little bit of shorter live because it's a little harder to do with one person. Having a co-host, we can bounce stuff off each other. But you guys have been amazing. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be streaming on 10 to 20 different platforms at any given time when I start doing these shows. Right now, we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different platforms right now. We have, I even have people on Twitch right now watching still. So our Twitch is pretty hot. Thank you, Twitch people. But I am going to be showing off stuff. I'm trying to get my GoPros going so I can set them up in different cages. I can have up to 10 lines here. So I'll be showing stuff. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it, buddy. I mean, you guys know, I'm going to let you guys know this right now. YouTube, I used to be a big YouTuber, and I miss doing this. I have a mental block. I do, of doing this. Again, I struggle. And I don't know why I have a mental block. I used to do it all the time, and it didn't bother me. And Andrew coming on with me with the Reptile show, the show kind of helped me. It gave me someone to bounce off of. And I've been recording video and I'm going to be doing YouTube again. I am working through my issues, and it's nothing bad. It's all in my head. It's seriously, I worry about what everyone thinks now. I'm worried about it, and I'm worried that certain people are not going to like me, certain people aren't. But I don't care at the end of the day. It's really weird how it is for me. But things are going to change. I'm back. I'm rocking and rolling. Things are going good. My US ARC is rocking. This back is going to be different all the time, but we got to pump the US ARC. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to have to look up this YouTube. I know. What's YouTube? I mean, I don't think Jason knows what YouTube is. That is great. I'm sorry. You do need to get back on YouTube. Buddy, I appreciate that. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. So, guys, I'm out. I will check you guys. We're going to see if we can just do maybe minis during the middle of the week, guys. All right, guys. Talk to you later.